we have roughly 345 million companies on our database today. This updates monthly. As I mentioned earlier, we're global, right? So if you're looking inside Latin America, it wouldn't matter if today we're just looking at Brazil, where we've got roughly 25 million companies, or if we're looking at, again, Mexico, which I'm pretty sure is here, we've got roughly 17 million companies. In each of these, you can also sort down to kind of state by state, province level as well. So that's the goal piece we have. And then the next step we had after securing this database is we want to understand what these companies do. So as I mentioned last call, we set out there, trained our custom LLMs to read all the websites and break down these companies in a really digestible format. So you can basically query through the companies as well as read through the profiles really quickly to understand what they do. But that's kind of the high-level summary. And we also have the trading multiple side. So this would be basically our publicly traded data. So we'll do that at the end to find you public comps. And that's a Morningstar data set. So we get that directly from Morningstar, updated daily with enterprise, market cap values, last reported quarter, and annual reports. Well, let's start with this all company search together. So the way I would complete a search is you click on the description bar, and you basically use nice to have and must have keywords, kind of like a Google search engine. So it's nice that you can add some kind of more high level keywords if you want something more high level, and then you kind of double click into it and get really specific. So to start, I'm just thinking, looking at your database, I guess maybe over the counter medications. Whoops. We could do prescription drugs. And then it's just a high level search, some keywords. Anything else that kind of comes to your mind that'd be missing? So over the counter medications, prescription drugs, OTC medications, any other kind of keywords that just come to your mind right away?
Well, I think that's it.
Cool. And this is more high level. We can fine tune it as we go. So again, this just kind of give you any idea of some of the players in the space. You could add some filters. So let's just search Brazil. I'll just select Brazil, deselect everyone else. Financial filters. So we could do, say, 10 to 50. One piece too, Daniel, I'll mention is we also have access to actual reported financials. So I believe in Brazil, it's there's like a revenue and like an asset threshold for companies that are required to report financial data, or if they're kind of private equity backed. Is that kind of how it works?
I am not sure if I understood your question, Lucas, but many companies, depending on their tax regime, they are obliged, correct? Yeah, to publish their financial statements.
So if they are obliged, we'll have that data, which is nice. And it's fully downloadable with income statement and balance sheet.
Nice.
But cool, 10 to 50. And then you could do kind of company type. If you want to just say global ultimate owners or private companies versus subsidiaries, that's possible. But awesome. Let's do research. So essentially, again, it's basically now querying through our database of just the 25 companies in Brazil, 10 to 50 million revenue. And it's going to use those keywords that we selected. And basically, the AI is going to do its best job to give us the most relevant companies. All right, cool. So these are the first guys. So we can take a look at, I guess, some of the companies here. So what's nice, so I'll give you a quick summary of what we're seeing here. So this is our summary result list. Again, all these companies are between 10 and 50 million revenue. And what we're doing here is everything we've done and set out across the process is to make your life easier in finding comparable companies. So as you can see, we have a quick summary right here. So these are our AI knows are our keywords. And again, we can make the process kind of more fine-tuned as we go. This is a quick summary right here. Our AI is saying why these companies came up first. So over-the-counter prescription drugs, over-the-counter prescription drugs. Okay, that's great. There's a lot of them. Here's the manufacturers. Maybe we want to add the manufacturer to our search and refine the search and kind of make it get smarter. Do you know any of these names, by the way?
Yeah, some of them, yes, I know. Clay Hertz, Aspen, Drogaria Almeida. The first one is actually a pharmacy, I think.
And so see, our AI says that right here, online pharmacy. So again, you mentioned you don't want pharmacies, so you don't even have to spend 2 seconds looking at it. But again, everything we've done is the process to make your life easier in screening these companies. So if you click on this company, for example, this is kind of why they rank first. We have kind of information on the company. We have an estimate for our financials in this situation here. That means actuals are not required to be reported for this company. And then if you come down here, you can essentially see quickly what these guys do. This is a quick overview of what the company does. This is what brought me to Comparables.ai. It really saves you time from clicking on the website. So we can see they do over-the-counter drugs for these kind of specific areas. You can see they're B2B, so they're definitely more of kind of a distributor. And you know these guys?
Biolab. Yeah, Biolab.
Nice. So then you can we also have information on the target customer. So basically, who are they selling to?
This is actually Biolab profile, right?
Yes.
No? Okay.
Pharma. Yeah, Biopharma. So one thing, Daniel, it's always going to be the officially registered name through our database. So whatever they register with the government is what the name we have. And then you can take a look at M&A activity down here. So basically, we screened them and found that these guys acquired Excel Pharma back in 2022, and you can click on the link to view the source.
They were acquired by, right? Or
they bought these guys.
They bought, okay.
And again, this is
you have more information, for example, about that specific transaction. Transaction multiples and so on.
So we don't have anything that's not publicly available. So as you know, it's hard to kind of get that data. What our competitive advantage piece would be on the M&A side of things is, we're screening for it. So in this case, there's actually no deal price even announced. So we have no way around that. But our competitive advantage is we're going to have more actual financials than anyone else. So you could back into it if that's helpful.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say our top functionality is going to be finding the companies and finding them quickly. Yeah, again, and then we can kind of keep next. So you can kind of screen through. And again, everything we've done is to make your life easier in screening these companies. So I live off this when I do my screening. Come down here, you get a quick sense of what they do, get that quick go or no go decision. Yep, they do over-the-counter drugs, kind of that B2B model we like. Okay, great, add them to your search.
You don't have, for example, the revenues breakdown between all lines of products, for example. That's quite specific and detailed.
So essentially, no, we won't have it broken down to each line item. I don't think, we don't have that data.
Okay.
What you could do, this is an actually reported company, so you could download their financial statements right here. This is the only part of our platform that's on a credit system, but you get access to their actual income statement and balance sheet going back 5 years. I can show you an example of this after, but you can also download this in another format. But again, so that's kind of the functionality of how it works. You can kind of screen like this, kind of keep going through the players. I think this is one of the ones you actually sent us, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So again, you kind of scroll through these, kind of come down here, get a sense of what they do. You can also see their ownership structure. So this is who they own, right? So these are kind of their subsidiaries in a nice visual way. So you can add these companies to your list. If you, let's say, really like these 4 companies, again, so far our search, all we did was had these 3 keywords. Again, I'd recommend kind of keep going through, but if let's say you want to get the search stronger, you can click update results. And what our AI is going to do now is going to look at those 4 companies.
But based on those companies you have
Correct.
Selected, they will try to find peers and similar companies.
Exactly. And our search is very transparent, and it primarily runs off of keywords. So what just happened there is our AI essentially enhanced the search by adding additional keywords
59
based off those companies. And so don't get, these numbers are a little bit misleading. So we have 4,700 in total. This number keeps going up. We're actively screening for you as the search goes. So if you kind of scroll down to the bottom, it would keep screening, right? It's going to look at the next 100 companies. And it's going to diagnose if they're immediately relevant for Daniel in your search or not. Any questions so far? I've just talked at you a lot.
No, it's great.
But these guys, if I'm guessing correctly, is you can see where they fit in their global subsidiary. So it's a really nice visual way to kind of understand who the companies are. And you can kind of click on any of the profiles if you're interested in kind of what these guys do. And this is kind of how our revenue breaks down, by the way. So we have it like on these line items. These are kind of the key statements you would see. But again, we don't have it to the specific percentage of revenue. So I don't think these companies are usually required to report that necessarily. But cool. So if you, let's say, add all these companies to your search, you like them, you can click go to analysis. Analysis is getting ready to export the data to Excel. So you can essentially pick a couple of your columns. Say you want to add maybe the number of employees, the executive.
You have email?
Sorry?
You have the contact information for those,
We have the name of the person and where they work today is available on the platform.
but not the email, for example.
Not email today.
Okay.
We should have that by October 1.
All
We're
right.
in the final stages of partnership on that front. And you could add, say, total revenue as well. And then you can kind of get a sense right here of this. And this is what that data would look like in Excel. So if you click export to Excel, you can download this. And Daniel, today we don't limit any downloads today from our custom downloads.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions on any of this? This is the private side of the platform.
No, it's great. I think I am satisfied with what I have seen so far.
Okay. All right, great. If you have any questions, too, happy to go back. Now I want to show you the public side of the platform. So I'm going to click home, clear the search, and now we're looking for public comps. So I click on trading multiples. Again, you can kind of be as specific or as niche as you want, but let's just say pharmaceuticals, and I'll spell that correctly. Pharmaceuticals, just for a high-level search. And then do you usually do just Latin America, or do you kind of US and Europe as well for public comps? So yeah, I'll just do US, Latin America, Europe, and then I always like to do a minimum, say revenue, market cap, just to make sure we get some players. We click search. Again, this is super high level, but it'll basically just get us some pharmaceutical players. Again, we could be more niche, but here I'm just trying to quickly show you kind of the functionality on the public side. Very similar to the private side. Again, our AIs can tell you why they're relevant. So for products and sales, again, this is just an example of a high level search. You can either mass add them all to your list, or you can add them. If you notice, so let's say you have an investment thesis in your head, Daniel, you can kind of down here in live time, see we got EV to revenue. So every time you add a company, it's going to update.
Those are all public listed companies. Is that correct?
Correct. These are all publicly traded pharmaceutical companies. And I added more than 25 million revenue and 25 million market cap just to make sure we get some multiples.
All right. But they are listed on the
Correct.
stock and exchange.
Correct.
Okay.
So you can add all these guys to your list. As you can see, again, in live time, we have our EV to revenue. If you wanted to EV to EBIT, that's the median for all these companies. These are all their numbers. And then we can click go to analysis. And this is getting ready to export to Excel once again. So, but the difference is, obviously, to your point, on the publicly traded company side, there's a lot more data available. So we've got roughly 100 columns here of financial figures you could look at. If let's say you're looking to add, say, the EBITDA of these companies, and say you're looking to add you could pick a year right here, and that'll add a column for that. If you wanted to add specific quarters, say you want to populate Q1 last couple of years, you can do that as well. You could do that for total revenue. You could do that for any of these different line items. We click apply changes. It works similarly. Click export to Excel, and then you can now select the current data selection. We also pre-built out for you a valuation template, which I'm going to show you in a second, which basically kind of your typical trading multiples dashboard. So like EV to revenue, EV to EBIT, EV to EBITDA, upper lower quartiles for your peer group. We do WACC analysis and unlevered beta analysis as well as some kind of benchmarking. And if you click this valuation time series, that's its own Excel. But essentially that would basically be kind of going back the last couple of years. You could track EV to revenue, EV to EBIT, how the market cap has grown or shrunk if you want to show, say, multiple expansion or compression. And then this is just that Excel I put a second ago. So if you notice, I clicked a lot of different EBITDA numbers. These are all the EBITDA numbers that this company has right here. This is all the custom output. We've got a benchmarking template as well. This essentially breaks down each of these publicly traded companies, looking at kind of top line, some of these key KPIs. If you want to take a sense of look at today.
This is the export.
Correct. Correct. So sorry, I want to look quickly. This is the custom export that I made. So you can make this on your own by picking your own columns. This was our benchmarking template that I added. So it's pre-built out for you.
I see.
Then we also have a trading multiples dashboard, which could be helpful for basically you getting some kind of quick analysis. So as you can see here, these are all the EV to revenues. If you wanted to add, say, your company that you're looking at, say they're doing 25 million in sales, that's going to populate a $46 million valuation. And this is all hard coded and this is all dynamic. So if you want to say get rid of these guys because they look like really high and you want the valuation to be lower, all of a sudden you delete that and it's going to lower the valuation.
All right.
You can do the same with EBIT, EBITDA, net debt. We also do WACC analysis. Is this something you guys do at all?
Yeah, sure.
So essentially, we take this off the public peer group. You could add your country. So add Brazil. It's going to populate a tax rate. We have our tax rate for Brazil. You could add your credit spread. Essentially, we want, say, drugs, pharmaceuticals. They'll add a credit spread down here. Add a risk-free rate. So you can pick what number you feel most resembles what you're looking for. Then you can also add an inflation differential or alpha factor if that's something you guys do add in your day-to-day. Essentially, they'll calculate your WACC right here. You can kind of see where all the data comes from. So the unlevered beta comes from the median of the public peer group we selected, as well as the debt to equity ratios, tax rate from Brazil. We could lever the beta back up.
So it's levered beta, and then you're re-leveraging it.
Correct. Exactly. And then this is the unlevered beta calculation. So again, using these kind of debt to equity ratios. And you get a sense here, we got 0.78. Again, that's just looking at these public comps that we selected. And the rest of the outputs are all in the back. Just equity, credit risk premiums, credit spread inputs. So obviously, if you want to, it's more of an art than a science. If you have any kind of special ways of doing it, it's all very transparent and easy for you to kind of make your own additions if it's helpful. But cool, Daniel, that's pretty much it for our platform. I guess, yeah, I would love to turn it back over to you, see if you have any kind of questions on anything we saw today. Like Bauer, I could be helpful with answering.